baseball lifestyle. It's my lifestyle.
Now it's been brought back.
I guess, yeah.
Due to some unforeseen reason.
Yeah.
I mean, would you rather me just hit record randomly and then?
Yes, no, I like that.
Because there was no discussion prior to us just hitting record. But
you just hit record and just start asking us questions, getting us going.
How's everyone's day going?
Fantastic.
Going super solid. Day kicked off like a bottle rocket. Absolute bottle rocket.
Great.
And it's pretty much proceeded to just continue itself this entire time. There's been no
Excellent.
breaks. I'm literally leaving from work to rush to Nassau Coliseum to go to a Long Island Nets game.
The enemy for you.
Where's the Knicks G League team play?
They're in Connecticut.
The Knicks are in the Westchester Knicks. They're up in Tarrytown.
Gotcha. As soon as you said that, I remembered. Okay. Cool. Everybody's having a great day. Big episode for the boys.
Big episode for the kids. Have we started?
Yeah.
Joking.
Yeah. We are 7 days out from opening day. We said it last week. It's our prediction show. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe. Toss us a review. Send it to a friend. We got some good picks, I'm sure. I know Dennis was doing a lot of research today. I know Bill's going to come with some stuff like he always does. So,
just recklessness.
Absolutely, and I'm super here for it because after talking, I think last episode was even more eye-opening for me of that there are so many interesting things that can happen with the way the teams are set up right now.
Yeah.
I think in years past, I think actually last year in particular, it was kind of cut and dry as to who we thought was going to be a solid team. And I think there's a lot more interesting little changes and things that have happened, especially after the lockout. And I'm super pumped to get rolling. So I put together a list of all the different things and predictions that I want to cover. Let's jump right into it. I'm stoked. So let's go. Kicking things off, Bill, Dennis, who do you guys think is going to be the AL MVP and why?
So I'm going to let Dennis kick this off because I would like to start off the NL MVP.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I thought we were going to start with the news because news was before everything. But
no, we're going right in. Forget all the news. News doesn't matter. This is our prediction show.
Yeah.
All right. So, Bill, you want to start with NL MVP. Do you want me to start off with that one then so we're all on the same page? Or
no, kick off AL MVP. I'll give you mine, and then when we start NL, I'll go.
All right. So
we threw him for a loop now.
Because
Dennis is confused. He was
threw
not
myself
ready.
for a loop. I just got excited and went right into the predictions. Dennis, do you want me to do current news first? Will that make you feel better?
I feel like it makes sense, but
okay, cool.
I'm ready to throw out my MVP
Cool.
If you want.
Get yourself together. For current news, guys, this just in. Albert Pujols signed back with the Cardinals for on a one-year deal to ride off into the sunset with his homies.
Didn't they then score like 29 runs in the game?
1 billion runs, yes.
Have you seen more NFL scores for some teams in spring training than ever before?
They scored more than the St. Louis Rams have the past few years.
My Lanta, there's been a lot going on.
More than the Jets have quite often. Yes, that happened. Awesome. Love it. We were kind of hoping that would happen last year. Just the final tour for the big three for the Cardinals. Super cool. Next in this week's current news, the Blue Jays traded for Ramel Tapia, who made I don't know if you know who that is.
Nope.
That's okay. He is a contact hitting left fielder from the Rockies, who is actually a sneaky good player. Just being on the Rockies, not much notoriety there, but
typical.
Yes, but I just love that the Blue Jays are constantly making moves, and as much as it doesn't seem like an upgrade, it is from Randall Grichuk, and the fact that Tapia is going to bring an extra 30 points on his average from where Grichuk is. Other than that, Grichuk hits more home runs, but I think they don't need that. They need contact, exactly. And he's a good defender, base stealer. So sneaky good move by the Blue Jays. Loved it. MLB dropped yesterday, kind of out of the blue, the Home Run Derby X. Did you read about that?
I have no news. I've been spending all my time for my predictions.
Gotcha. Word. Okay, cool. So I'll give you the quick.
You're updating me real time. Love
Excellent.
This.
Love that. Okay, so the Home Run Derby X, they just put it out. They recognize that the Home Run Derby is the coolest thing we have for baseball.
For sure.
So they're building on it.
Just because of Pete.
Yeah. But it's going to be a little different. So the way it's going to be situated, it's going to travel. So they're going to Mexico City, Seoul, South Korea. Where are the other two places? London, and somewhere here. So they're going to be doing that. So they're going to have 4 teams. Okay, so it's going to be teams that represent the Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers, and Cubs. No players from their team. It's going to be more of like celebrity-based.
Got you.
And then it's going to be an interesting setup of the field. So the hitter is going to be on an elevated surface, like a stage.
Okay.
Pitcher will also be on a stage.
Okay.
Like up off the field, so they'll just be the way they quoted it is they're the main focus, so they're going to be treated as such. Field to play, length of the field between 280 and 320 feet to center field. It kind of looks like the Polo Grounds in terms of like how skinny it's like organized. The optimum field to play will be set at the angle of 45 degrees from home plate, so like wide. 2 raised targets in the outfield, 160 feet away from home plate, and 2 raised targets immediately beyond the outfield fence, 20 feet high. There will be a catch zone, and there's an outfield fence. So it looks like, I guess they're gonna build this somewhere.
They're playing a game. They're making a game.
Right.
So when I gave my how we could pick up baseball and make it gamified, they listened to me.
Yep.
Fantastic. Again, the show is leading forward on being in the future with completely accidentally.
It happens. You know,
Just
what are we gonna do?
Occasionally right.
Next, the National City Connect jerseys, which I know both
Oh,
of you are a
sweet
fan of.
Jesus! I did take a pause. So me and Dennis had a borderline euphoric. I won't get into other
words
R-rated
that connect with
words.
euphoric. Yes.
Experience about those jerseys. I wish I wasn't a Mets fan. If I wasn't a Mets fan, I would own one of those. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous with the cherry blossoms on it. They did an absolutely fantastic job. And what I did think was cool was they do have connection to the Washington Wizards jerseys that are also cherry blossoms and everything else. So both professional sports teams have a unified jersey color design.
That's cool.
Which I thought was pretty cool that they connected it. MLB was asked to actually do something with the NBA. I think that's like massive steps forward.
I need that so badly.
But yeah, I mean those are beautiful. Soto looked fantastic in it.
He sure did.
He'll look better when he's in the Mets City Connect jersey.
Yep, 100%. And I like that the reasoning behind the cherry blossom. I thought that was really cool. I liked the Red Sox when they did that too, with the kind of the connecting with like an event and a more deeper reason behind it. I think that's important, and I think it's one of the better ones for sure. My last thing before we jump right into our picks again, which I was just super fired up about.
It's okay, Dennis.
Sorry, Dennis.
Well, I just want to make sure we followed the show doc.
It's all right. I got excited,
what's
man.
What's the point of having a doc if we don't follow the doc?
We had
Exactly,
we had
Dennis.
a different
Dennis,
doc.
we talked about being more off the cuff, all right, and that's what we did. But I'm just fired up because Hunter Green's going to be in the MLB finally, and we've been hearing about him forever. We know he's a beast, and watching him in spring training, he's dicing up people, and I'm very excited for him.
For sure. Absolutely.
And that's it for today's current news.
Updated.
All right, I'll kick it off.
Let's go, Dennis.
Hit me. Who is the AL MVP?
AL MVP. I moved his jersey behind me. I'm gonna go with Bo Bichette on this one. Obviously,
That is a curveball of epic proportions.
I love that so much out of you, Dennis. Tell me why.
So Vladdy obviously is going to get a lot of the attention early on.
Sure.
But Bo's a better player.
But overall, I think Bo is going to take another step this year, and he's just going to be an absolute monster. One of the stats that we talked about last year during the show was runners in scoring position, what their OPS is.
Mm-hmm.
My man came way too
I
prepared.
know, dude. He spent a lot of time this morning. I'm telling you.
Bo last year, runners in scoring position with 2 outs, his OPS was 1095. So clutch factor right there.
Gene.
Blue Jays are going to win the World Series. Bo Bichette's going to be.
Wow, you're jumping too far ahead.
What happened to
Dennis?
jumping around, Dennis?
What happened, Dennis?
Gosh
darn it.
I think we've made it clear.
Continue
with the bet, but
on.
anyway.
Who is AL MVP to you?
For me, and I love that Dennis went both.
I love that.
I love that. I had
I
him
love
as
that.
a lot of different things I was thinking about.
I love that.
For me, it's gonna be Shohei, because honestly, even if he does the same thing he just did, it can't be anyone else until it's not Shohei. It just, for me, it can't be. as much as I wanted it, I understand. Bo, Vlad, there's a lot of people that could make their case for it, but in terms of being the most valuable, it's Shohei until it's not for me.
Love it. I like both of your guys' picks better. I'm here just to stir the pot and to throw things out there.
Stir it.
Aaron Judge.
Cool.
Aaron Judge
Josh
has
is gonna be triggered.
been on an absolute tear. I know that he thinks Stanton is the guy who's going to be it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Judge, if he doesn't get a contract sometime soon, he's going to put up some kind of like stupid offensive numbers and put himself in a position to leave the Yankees in the wind in the offseason if they don't do something. But I'm going with, just for the symmetry of crazy, I'm going with Aaron Judge.
I dig it. Listen, all good picks. That's what I'm saying. The AL, for me, there's so many good people that could easily get it, but there's such an added element in Ohtani.
In the NL MVP race, there is only but one answer, and it's
certainly
Juan
is.
Soto.
Yep.
Juan Soto, to me, is going to be the MVP. I thought he should have been the MVP last year. I want him to continue to drip it out, and I want him to keep telling the Nationals that he won't sign a deal with them so that they're forced to trade him. And then when the other team says, will you sign this deal with us, he will say no. And they'll be like, well, then we can't do the trade, and it'll be forced that he has to get forced to the Mets. And it's coming. That's why they signed Canna to a 2-year deal. It's why, you got Michael Conforto lying about hurting his shoulder during a workout in January. You absolute liar. Nobody wants you for the money that you're asking for. You're going to end up signing for a sad amount. It's going to be a 1-year deal for less than you would have gotten with the Mets. And you and your agent look like the biggest joke in baseball. And I love it.
I think he's coming back to the Mets, by the way, on that 1-year deal.
NoShot.com.
Well, he's going to be on.
He's signing for pennies on the dollar.
Yes. And honestly, I think the only way they have room to bring him back is on a minor league contract, which would be the most embarrassing thing.
No shot.
But he wouldn't accept. But that's what I'm saying. He wouldn't accept
There's
it.
a team out there that'll sign him
Right.
for more money.
That's what I'm saying.
He
It
just
wouldn't be
keeps
the
telling
Mets.
everybody that he wants 5 years, $130 million.
Didn't the Mets offer him $100?
Yes, 100. They offered him 100.
That's
he turned it down.
Brutal.
Turned it down. Then he turned down a 1-year qualifying offer for almost $19 million.
Sure did.
Turned it down. Now he can't find a deal to save his life. Like, we're about to start playing baseball in a week. There's no smoke about anywhere he's going. Joke of a player. You know who's not a joke of a player? Juan Soto. Dennis, you're up.
It's Juan Soto next.
I also had Juan Soto.
Guys, that was the easiest one going on. G-Baby, you're going to kick it off. AL Rookie of the Year. Who we got?
So this one this is a toughie for me.
This is tough. This is super tough.
The AL in particular. Dennis said he struggled more with the NL. I don't struggle there.
I don't struggle there at all.
So I'm gonna give you my 3, and I'll tell you where more I'm leaning. My top 3 was Julio Rodriguez, Bobby Witt, and Adley. Honorable mention was Torkelson. I'm not 100% sure what his deal is yet.
Cool.
I'm leaning towards Bobby the most. But
So who'd you pick?
Bobby.
I picked Bobby as well.
Yeah.
My biggest reason is I feel like he's going to get the full run.
Yes.
To go ahead and do it. He plays a more premium position. Adley was my next choice. Adley, to me, has the next biggest shot because he's going to play on TV against Boston and New York and all those other teams, and he's going to hit 30 home runs and be an absolute nightmare fuel for the AL East.
Yep.
And people will start salivating over the fact that sometime soon they will trade him to a great team.
Yep.
The biggest question will be when. So I like yours. I'm on Bobby Witt. I just think at shortstop he's going to get a lot of run.
Yeah. I was also just on Adley real quick. I'm also not sure when they're going to actually bring him to the show.
They get draft picks if they bring him up.
Right. No, I know.
But there's no way in hell they can keep him down.
No, he should already be on the.
He should quit baseball. If they keep him, if he's not on the opening, he should quit. Because at that point in time, I'm never going to play MLB.
For sure.
I would refuse to play AAA if I was him.
For sure.
Refuse.
Did you see and I know, so this already, the stirring of sending people down and not making the Pirates, who, nobody, I guess, really cares too much about the Pirates in terms of all that, but their shortstop is a stud. O'Neal Cruz already sent him down. But he's opening day caliber. Everyone was shocked. Why is he not?
Well, so again, they get draft picks if a guy is in the running for the Rookie of the Year award. So
Right.
I think Adley is going to be up from day one
I hope so.
because they get benefits for him being up for the whole season. Your next best prospect, I understand manipulating the service time because if you don't think he's going to beat out your other rookie for Rookie of the Year, and he's not going to finish in the top 2, 3 in the voting, then you're not going to get any of the benefits of bringing him up. So if you're not going to get the benefits of bringing him up, manipulate, but they probably will keep him down for an entire year. That's a joke.
Yep.
Dennis, who we got?
I went with Spencer Torkelson. Lowest OPS he's had at any level is 881. And I just look at Detroit as a better team overall than the two other guys that I had, which was Adley and Bobby Witt. And the Orioles and the Royals, I look at lesser teams as Detroit. So I think just as an overall team environment, he's going to be in a better position to succeed.
And that's what I think hurts Torkelson to me, is if that's a team that actually thinks they can win some games and do anything, he's going to struggle to find more bets. Whereas Bobby, to me, has the clearest line to just go out there and swing, kid.
But that's the question. Is I know that there was also talk that Tork could be the starting first baseman there.
Yes.
And then I don't know if that's actually happening. Same thing with Bobby. He could easily be the starting shortstop, Adley easily starting catcher.
Yeah.
But is it going to be the case? Interesting that nobody said Julio Rodriguez.
So, again, I it's not that I don't think he could be. Again, I just look at there's a lot of, and I think this goes back to why this one is more difficult. There's a lot of good players who could win.
Yep. There's a lot of players on all of their teams. Like Adley Rutschman, on the Orioles, the Grayson Rodriguez is a top 10 prospect. The Tigers have Riley Green, who's also a top 10 prospect. Crazy.
But the easiest award to me is the NL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Because of the two, there's only one guy who's going to win this, right? Stone Cold Left by Block, Hunter Green.
That is my pick as well.
It can't not be Hunter Green. He's throwing 104, guys.
He's destroying people.
He is also he is the heir to the throne of Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah. Kinda.
Like he's a two-way dude. Like he swung at that level, and there is now a benefit to having him potentially do some of that. I know he's been hurt. I know that there's some things that have thrown off his career, but at one point in time, Hunter Green was the guy because of his ability to do both as well, and throw Ched. I'm going Hunter. I think he's old as dirt now too, right? And by old as dirt, I mean he's 22.
Yeah, I mean they got drafted out of high school. He's been like we've seen his highlight reel in the minor leagues and things. He's been major league ready for so long, but like you said, injuries have prolonged him, and he has arrived, and I'm very excited to watch him destroy everyone. He's the highlight for the Reds.
He's an absolute animal.
Yep.
And he made 21 starts last year, right? He pitched 106 innings last year, and 106 innings, he had 139 strikeouts. He only walked 39 people.
That's ridiculous.
My point is that's like after not pitching since 2018.
It's great.
After not pitching since 2018. Guys,
super excited. Love it.
I just don't know. I think it's easily him. I think it's easily him. I'd love to see him do both, but the 104 starter is
I went with him at the end of the day, but the other guy I was looking at was Bryson Stott. If he gets into that lineup, I think it makes sense that he has a chance.
He's a good player.
It's Hunter.
Good dude too.
I think people are just gonna be like hyped that Hunter's back. He's gonna get all the stories. If he's good and he doesn't get hurt, like. It's everywhere.
I mean, listen, he'll go out and win games for the Reds, and then they'll just be terrible at everything else.
It's okay.
So that's what I'm saying.
That's the thing working against him is the fact that team is
it's working for him.
I think Jacob deGrom has opened up the world where you can be great as a pitcher,
and your team sucks,
and your team can suck, and you can be good.
Absolutely,
the Felix Hernandez type of thing.
So, since I jumped you for that one, who's the AL Cy Young Award winner for you?
For me,
yeah,
Noah Syndergaard.
Whoa! So, love that.
So I think people have forgotten how good he is when he actually
heard me
plays.
last week.
I know he did.
He heard me last week after I went on a rant off air. Off air.
Yeah, but I legitimately believe he's got a chance to win the Cy Young if he stays healthy. So
tons of respect. I did see his first spring training start. He looked very good.
Again, so y'all must have forgot. It's fine.
Didn't forget. Didn't forget. Just want him to prove it. Who's your AL Cy Young? Oh, you want me?
We go clockwise here.
Okay, cool. I got Shane Bieber.
Sugar Shane.
Sugar
Okay.
Shane. I really like him as a pitcher. He was hurt last year, come back for a full season. Oh, I want him to be healthy because he is a strikeout machine, just dominates. And also sneaky. Tristan McKenzie looked really good.
So
So
again,
for the
homie.
Guardians, they'll have a nice little staff there.
So I have been a big proponent of this player for a minute now.
Yeah.
On this show, and I think he's undersold in terms of the quality of him, and that is Jose Berrios. And I think that Berrios has a shot at doing it.
Okay.
He's at that right age, 27, 28 years old. He's in that window of I can be good, I can be great.
Named opening day starter already.
Names the
Yep.
opening day starter.
Yep.
The player on his team who had that position last year, won the Cy Young Award, was not as good as him. Like, there is a lot for me moving towards him being the guy.
Top 5 in ERA last year.
Yep, and he was consistent whether he was in Minnesota or whether he was in Toronto. His ERAs were relatively in the same ballpark. I just look at it for me. If you look at his FIP, that was actually better when he moved to the AL East in the middle of a tight race. I just really like the player. I think that being in a bigger market opportunity, I think dominating and winning against teams like Boston and Tampa and the Yankees will just help him. Plus, I just want to see Toronto just kill everything. So
Yeah.
I'm going Berrios.
I like that. That's a good one. I think that one was definitely a little more open-ended than the next one for me anyway.
Oh yeah.
Do we just go on the
Three-
count of
Is this
three?
Say it
on
all together.
three? Ready?
1,
2, 3.
Jacob deGrom.
Excellent job,
Well
guys.
done, guys.
Welcome to the Mets podcast. This is your host, Bill Rom. Yeah, Jake looks again like the Terminator, and like when you hear some of the things that Scherzer's saying, like Scherzer's laughing. He's like, guys, I'm freaking amazing. But have you seen this guy, Jacob deGrom? Like, I was just like, hey, throw it with only one finger. And he's like, all right, I'll throw it with one finger, 100 miles an hour. Like, the dude can do anything. I'm pretty sure that Jacob deGrom is actually a wizard. He may, in fact, be Harry Potter. Who knows? Yeah, Jacob deGrom. I saw you did it. My man. Respect.
Thank you.
He's trying to throw softer this year too, and he's still probably
Yes,
going to
he's
taking
taking it
it
off.
Softer, and he threw 97.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I decided to
Yeah.
not go max effort in 97.3. He's
Insane.
He's a genie.
Listen, his first half of the season we talked about it, could have been the greatest first half of the season ever. He had a 1 ERA.
I mean, he was on pace to have the greatest season in the history of pitching.
Yep.
Anything that you could have ever said, ERA numbers, he was at a what? A 1?
He was at a
0.04?
1. Mm-hmm.
Like, he was at a .69 for like 11 starts. And then his arm got tingly and he like gave up a run one day and he was like, oh, shucks. Like, geez Louise, man. Golly. So, yeah, deGrom,
Good pick, guys.
yeah, $50 million a year when he opts out of his deal.
Yep.
Mets will pay anything for him. So I'm also gonna kick off the AL East winner.
Cool, let's go.
It's the Jays. Not the Rays. It's the Jays. I think Blue Jays win it. I have since before the season stopped.
Dennis?
D-Nice?
Last year was the trailer. This year's the movie.
My man.
Oh, so we could have just done this one in unison as well.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say we
I-
could.
yeah.
I wasn't quite sure.
Yes.
Maybe all of them. We could just say them all out loud at the same time, see who everybody gets, and then argue who's dumb.
Cool.
AL Central winner. You guys ready?
On 3?
Hold on. Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. White
Sox.
Sox.
Chicago White Sox.
Wow.
Good pick, guys.
Simpatico.
Good pick,
I guess,
guys.
again, we can move faster through things
Ooh,
if we all agree. Oh, we got AL West winner.
This one's interesting.
Ready? You got it on 3?
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Mariners.
Angels. My man.
So I had to say
All
it
right,
because it
go
was
ahead,
different.
Gerson.
Hold on. So I wanted to pick the Angels.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm very torn in just Angels, Mariners, Astros.
Yep.
For lots
So
of
many
reasons.
So many reasons.
But I will say this, and the reason I was leaning towards the Angels is because I watched Noah Syndergaard pitch, and he looked like Syndergaard of old. So if we're talking about, if you look around the league, it's what's your 1-2 punch at the top of your rotation, and Syndergaard is who he is.
Yep.
And we need the Angels to stay healthy, and if they do that, that's a real thing. They could win. But I said the Mariners just because I think they're a little bit more of a complete team. But also, the Astros are never out of it because they have a very good veteran club. But I get what everybody's saying.
Yep.
Cool.
So and again, just so everybody knows on our side,
Yep.
I think that their 1, 2, 3, 4 that they're going to put out in the lineup is just absolutely incredibly good. 2 out of the 4 players are going to be MVP candidates. One guy has won an MVP. Did Rendon win?
Yes.
Has won an MVP, and their first baseman can mash. He's one of the better power hitting overall first baseman DH categories in the game. So I look at that team and they have that, and then Syndergaard and Shohei. Again, having that 1-2, and you're gonna have 2 guys who are sub-3 ERAs. It's really, really tough for me to pick against you. I think that that's another team that I expect to also then make some moves, even though they already signed Aaron Loop, which was one of their best signings of
for sure
offseason.
Mets will miss him.
It's underreported how big of a deal that was. But I digress.
As Mets people, we knew that.
We know what's up.
Yeah.
The second best pitcher in New York last year.
Facts. All right. The NL East.
Well, before we move to the NL East, I'm just curious about something. Do you guys think all of the AL wildcard teams end up being AL East teams?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hot take, Yankees miss.
Well, there's 3 wildcard teams now. So that's why I'm saying
hot take, the
Yankees miss.
Don't make the playoffs.
So who okay. So then it would be somebody from AL West probably.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, actually facts. It's probably going to be, call it for funsies, the Angels win, and then the Astros
or Mariners,
yeah. Or Mariners, yeah.
And that's my thing, is I think that's just an easier overall path. You're not going to be as bloody. Somebody of the 4 is going to get bloodied up. The question is, who is it? I don't foresee it being the Rays, the Rays, because they just consistently put out a good product.
Yes.
They don't have big highs. They don't have big lows. So I don't think it's going to be them. Boston, to me, is always kind of a gamble, but you're looking at the team that was in the World Series. So how do I tell you that they're not going to be it? And the Jays are the best team in maybe baseball as a complete unit of a team. So I look at that and I go, the Yankees, what do they really have? They can hit.
They sure as can pitch.
But they can't pitch to save themselves. And they're still telling me for 17 years how Severino is going to be the truth.
They already had an injury scare.
You know the craziest thing that used to be said to me by Josh Shapiro?
What do you got?
Was that Severino was as good as DeGrom.
He's laughing.
That's what he used to say.
He's laughing on the other side right now.
Drugs. Absolute drugs.
Dude, they already had an injury scare with him. It's going to be...
Dude, Severino's going to pitch for 8 seconds. And they're we would have won if Severino, it's
we're done. We're done, Severino.
This is the 5th sequel. This is like Sharknado. This is such a bad movie. I don't need to watch this anymore.
What an absolute
I don't need to watch this movie anymore. Not even a little bit. NL East winner, from what I was told, we have some spicy here. So, I'm going to start it off. NL East winner is going to be the Mets. Dennis, where are we at?
Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta.
So I need to see.
Hold on. Before you even do it. Hot Atlanta.
I already said it last episode, the Phillies.
So we have on a quote-unquote Mets podcast that people might want to say, we have 2 out of the 3 people not choosing the Mets.
Yep.
And me, who I'm usually I got some things that I think, but it's the Mets and it's not close. So let's first go with the Braves, because I think that's the better argument than the shittier team that was mentioned by Gerson.
So I do like the Phillies, but the Mets, on paper, they should win the division, but until we see them do it, I just can't believe that they're actually going to do it. The Atlanta Braves just won the World Series without Ronald Acuna and Soroka, and both of them are going to be back this year. Yes, they lost a couple of pieces, but I also think Matt Olson's not going to be a drop-off from Freddie Freeman that they lost. I think overall the Atlanta Braves are going to be just as good, if not better, than they were last year.
Dope. And listen,
it's a good argument.
I hear that 100%. 100%.
I'm here for it.
I'm going to go last on my Mets.
That's fine.
We can spin around on this thing as we go. But go ahead. Tell me on the Phillies.
Cool. So I just want to preface this by saying I want to be wrong for this. And I'm leaning with Dennis in the fact that I need the Mets to prove it. But on paper, I absolutely love this team. And spring training doesn't mean shit, but The boys look real good across the board. So, cool. Prove it. Make me wrong. Why did I pick the Phillies? I think their lineup additions are really solid. I think they can definitely compete in terms of who has the best lineup in the NL East. I think it's kind of up for grabs. Everyone can really bang that's in the top three. I need the Mets to prove it. I think the Phillies have kind of been on the cusp for a few years, and with these new additions, their pitching staff's been pretty solid. It was always their offense or injuries or whatever that they kind of fell off at the end. They were in the running for the NL East at the end of last year. The Braves just figured it out and made the right moves at the trade deadline to get it there. But again, the Mets are the outlier for me in that if all the pieces are put together the right way for that team, which I think they are, they just need to go out and do it. If they are, then it's not even close. Then we're talking about 2015, the Mets run away with it, which they could have last year, and they just didn't.
So my problem with the Phillies is that they're the most overrated team in the league. And last year they were who we thought they were. And they weren't great. And like my thing is that we look at a team who was about what I think, like nothing really happened that I would look at. All that happened was they got an outstanding performance out of Zach Wheeler that they weren't expecting him to even be as good as he has been. They got an ace that they weren't expecting, and they were 82-80. 82-80. And if I line by line their team for this upcoming year, their best pitcher would maybe be starter number 4 for the Mets. Because every ERA number that you look at in the NL, you have to add at least a half run, typically, to a similar AL pitcher of the same style. Because there's a DH, and you don't get an out that you get to pitch to a pitcher. Fair?
Sure.
Cool. So Wheeler was a 2.8 something ERA. That would put him at roughly a 3.25. Bassett in an American League team was a 3.15. So he's comped to Wheeler. So the Mets have the best pitcher, the second best pitcher, and maybe the third best pitcher in the National League East. And we're talking about what? We're talking about the Phillies lineup is good. Now, I'm here. Atlanta, I get. Atlanta has now won consistently for a number of years. All the little things. I do think that you have to have a real thing of Acuna missing an entire year, being hurt, everything else. How does he handle the full course load of an entire season? Jock Peterson in the second half of last year played the best he ever did his entire life, was one of the big reasons why they continued on.
And they lost him.
And he's gone.
Yeah.
And we're expecting that they're going to be quote-unquote better when most of the reason the back half anybody in the NL East looked better was because the Mets just completely went away.
Yep.
And disappeared as a team. I just don't see it. The Mets are better than the Phillies at first base, second base, third base, shortstop, outfield. They're worse at catcher. That's it. Phillies got no shot in hell. In hell. And they have one of the more overrated signings of the offseason. And that's a deep, long drive ball to deep center field.
I don't know if I'm going to put this headset on again.
Hold on. I'll put mine off.
He's overrated and I'm talking about Castellanos.
Yeah, no.
Everybody knows.
I'm just making sure for the people who are listening in the back. Castellanos had the best season of his entire career last year. The last time he played in as many games as he did last year was back in 2019, right? Now, obviously, that was the year that 2020 there, everything was out. 138 games. In that season, in that 2019 season, he was an 860 OPS guy. Last year, 939. 939. So we think that the guy is that player when he's a career OPS of 814. 939, but in 2021, and he made his debut in 2013, he had a 939. But for his career, 8 years, 9 seasons, 814. He's gonna be who he's been. You think it's a coincidence that he puts up this amazing year when it's a contract year? Have we not seen this story before, Jason Bay?
We'll talk more about him later.
Triggered.
But we can get into all of that stuff. To me, the Phillies have no shot. No shot.
.com.
Tell me why you guys think that the Mets, is it literally just fear as a Mets fan and as a Mets podcast host?
For me, I just you're talking about how the comparison of our lineups.
Yeah.
And on paper, the Mets are better. I agree with you.
By leaps and bounds.
I agree. All I need to see from them is the consistency if they can maintain it for the entire season. We have an award at the bottom of this page that's called the Mets Award.
You have an award at the bottom of the page.
Because they had a monumental, never-before-seen fall-off.
But so we're talking about something that's never happened before. And that is what we're expecting to happen again.
No, absolutely
Meanwhile,
not. That's not
we
what I'm
have
saying.
other things that have happened consistently forever. And then one thing happened, like we're going based off of
For
what?
sure. Oh, I agree with you.
So-
I'm specifically just saying.
How good were
the Mets in 2019?
How good were the Mets in 2020?
Fine.
But what was their lineup? It was the best lineup in the history of baseball.
What?
No, Foolish Baseball, if you pull up his numbers, the Mets lineup in 2020, by numbers and analytics, is in the top 5 offenses in the history of the game.
Dennis, please
They
pull that
were
up.
beyond unlucky with scoring runs. Then you look at last year.
What's the site's name?
Foolish Baseball. If you guys look up his YouTube
I
channel,
mean-
if you're a baseball fan, you know what Foolish Baseball is. I apologize to any of the guys here who are making us look bad.
Dennis is more of a hockey guy.
Foolish has about 244,000 subscribers. He's on multiple different on just on his YouTube channel. He's on multiple other shows. Yeah.
So hold on. So all you're telling me right now is that the Mets are historically unlucky.
No.
In back-to-back seasons, they had some of the most unlucky play in the history of baseball.
Yeah.
Unlucky run scoring,
But no, I don't think they're historically unlucky.
Okay.
And that's what again.
But
I'm
with
going
this
back.
current
So
team,
the
with the
but
current
no. Again, so how many? So is Marte on the current team?
Yeah.
No. Is he part of the history?
No.
Deleted.
Fine.
So he doesn't matter. None
Fine.
of that matters to him.
Great.
Does it matter to Scherzer?
No.
Nope. So he's Marte.
You just said Marte.
No, I didn't. I
We've
said
spent
Scherzer.
a lot of
Fine.
time.
Bassett, Scherzer.
Oh, no, you started with Marte.
My fault.
Bassett.
So
Bassett,
Marte,
fine, yes.
Bassett, Scherzer, Escobar. So all these other guys who we've added they don't give a flying rat's ass to anything else that's going on in the entirety of the world.
Great.
Does Buck care? Nope. Doesn't matter. So I'm done with Mets fans believing, just like they're the Red Sox fans, like, we're cursed, man. We're cursed. No.
I'm not saying that either.
The reality for me is don't sell me on some bullshit about something that magical has to happen for them to not win. We last year sat here and we thought they were the best team. Through the All-Star break, they were the best team. Jacob deGrom gets hurt. Francisco Lindor misses 6 weeks. And we lose the whole thing, and we're not the team anymore. And we're talking about that's what we're going to measure on. So more of last regular season, the Mets led the division than they didn't. They have a historically good offseason. Tell me why they won't. Don't sell me on some fandom. So hit me with some stuff.
I'm not selling you a fandom.
So I can't. Then you're lying to me.
What do you mean?
You're picking the Phillies so that you cannot pick the Mets and curse them.
No.
Then give me a real reason.
I just told you.
Give me a real reason.
You're right. All of these guys. Okay, hold on. So I'll use the Braves as the comp. 75% of their team has been there the last 3 years. So you can look at them and say, okay, this is what they do.
For sure.
Half of our starting lineup has not been here.
For sure. But I can look at their numbers and I can say this is what
fine.
they do.
Great. Cool. And so on paper, they look fantastic, and I think they are going to win. However, I need them to go prove it. That's all.
So that's my point. So you actually think the Mets are going to win the division. You're choosing the Phillies because you have a weird thing where if you choose the Mets, you feel like you're going to curse them.
No, it's not a curse. It's just, for me, it's like I can't look at this team and say they're definitely going to win because this is what they've been doing.
They're definitely going to win because they have the most talent. They are in the top 3, easily, most talented teams in the entire league. The whole thing.
Okay.
So why are we going to take a team that we think is that talented? Injuries can happen. Stuff can go by. Everything. But give me the real. Like, Dennis, why did you choose Atlanta over the Mets?
I just look at the team. They've been really good for a long time, and I think they're going to be just as good, if not better.
So why did they get better?
They're adding 2 of their best players back from a World Series team from last year. And Matt Olson is, again, like, he's a very good player. Despite losing Freddie Freeman, they're going to be fine at first.
Okay. And my biggest question is, my thing to me is I don't necessarily look. Because what was, so this is where I would say, right? And we go with Jock. What was Jock's second half batting average?
Give me 1 second.
I'm moving faster than lightning out here for the show.
As we spend 14 minutes on one division.
We have to. You knew this was going to happen.
Be, 100%.
This is why we don't have time for other things.
Jock Peterson, last year with Atlanta, he batted .249 with a .752 OPS.
So his OPS went up 40 points in the second half, right? And we also know we looked at him and we said how much more he came up in the clutch when he was playing for them, and they were one of the heaviest clutch hitting teams in the entire league, right? My thing is, I am with you that Acuna is way better, right? A way better player. But I look at the team and I don't see that they made any other moves that jumped them dramatically, and for most of last season, they were worse than the Mets.
I agree. I don't think any of their moves were like substantially like, oh, our team's world's better. I think they just added to the fact that they're already a quality team. They added Kenley Jansen in the bullpen. That's a great move.
They're a quality team.
Yep.
I'm with you. I think that they are the team that will be the biggest competitor because of consistency and knowing your team. However, none of those teams are more talented than the Mets.
That's fine.
I can't.
Cool. I can't wait to watch.
I can't hear from anybody anything different unless you tell me a reason why. Because I can line up the lineups and the Mets are going to beat everybody.
Cool.
You're going to love my NL Central pick, and the
Let's
reason
go.
why then.
Let's go.
NL Central, St. Louis Cardinals.
1, 2, 3, Cards.
Cardinals.
Yeah.
The Cardinals of St. Louis. Yes, that's us.
Yeah, we all agree.
Great.
The main reason is just Albert's back. Yachty and Albert are going to go off into the sunset together.
That's not
To
even
me,
why
it's
for me.
one of the better teams. The Brewers, to me, are overrated.
Yeah.
Yep.
The rest of the division's weak. I don't think Chicago's really going to find anything. Halfway through the season, Stroman's going to have the entire team ready to melt themselves down.
Glad we're on the same page.
NL West winner. 0-3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. LA.
Dodgers.
The Dodgers, to me, are going to smoke that division. Josh Shapiro had a bold take of saying that he thinks that the San Francisco Giants were going to win the division again. I think that everybody gets smoked. I just don't see a world with Freddie Freeman added to the team. I don't know.
It's
You
so
want to hear
ridiculous.
the disrespect, though, for the Giants going into this season?
Show me
So
some.
last year they won 107 games. Right now the over-under for Vegas odds. Do you want to take a wild guess as to what it is?
78.
85.
It is 85.5.
Oh.
So that's a huge drop-off.
Yeah, but again, this is my thing. Is like you look at both the Mets and them, and you see that the voting is getting skewed, and everybody's throwing off what last year was. The Mets were projected by every analytical software site that they were going to win 93 games. Like everything was going to be crazy. Now all of a sudden, magically, the quote unquote projections take a whole bunch of players from last year who were 93 win team. You added Scherzer, Marte, better players, and the team got like 11 games worse than their projection. Bro, projections for most of these things, especially with voting odds and stuff like that, is just a dumpster fire.
Their projections are 90.5, so they're still close to what they were last year at least.
I saw a couple places.
For which
that
team?
The Mets.
I saw some projections saying the Mets were going to be like 83 win team, and I was like,
Oh, yeah, I've seen them.
I don't know where we're at with this, but it just seems like drugs for no apparent reason. And then I'll just go right in with my fandom because I'm gonna lean all the way the F in. NL home run champ. 1, 2, 3. Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso.
Wrong.
Go. I mean,
Dennis,
hit me with the facts.
All right, Bill, I'm going to trigger you here. It's going to be Nick Castellanos. He's not only
I will make a bet right here on this show right this second.
Okay.
Boba's bets.
I will go 10-1 odds for you. 10-1 odds that Castellanos doesn't win. You bet $10 and you lose, I get $10.
I understand how that works.
If you win, I get $100, or you get $100.
I mean, do you want to just do it straight up like Pete Alonso versus Nick Castellanos?
No, Field. I'm just saying right now, no shot in hell it's Castellanos.
Okay.
No shot.
It might not be Pete, but it won't be Castellanos.
So my argument.
Hit me.
Go ahead. Say the stadium's small.
Lifetime in that stadium, he's a 10-13 OPS hitter in 8 games. It's a small sample size, but he's got 2 home runs in those 8 games and 32 at-bats. You take that over a course of a season, he's looking at 40 just at home potentially.
So you're saying that he's going to hit 1 home run every other game in that stadium. That's the pace that you're trying to predict on right now.
You never know.
Is that the pace that you're trying to predict on right now?
You
That's
never
the
know.
math. That's the analytics that you just tried to put together and bring to this table for me.
Dennis, I'm not a fan of this.
Wow, that was a heck of a breakdown. I'm going to go with this. Last year, how many All-Star games has Nick Castellanos made?
1
When was that?
last year.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So how many seasons, obviously for this superstar player who's going to lead the league in home runs, how many times has he hit over 30 home runs?
Listen, I'm going
How
for the
many
future.
times?
No.
I'm going for the
Twice?
future.
How many times he hit over 30 home runs? 1. What season do you think?
2021.
Last year, which was the best year of his career. When's the last time he had an under 230 batting average for a season? I'll tell you, it's 2020. So we're going to go and say a guy who just for the first time in a contract year, right, hit 34 home runs, is going to hit the most home runs in the whole thing. Now, on the flip side, let's look at the down year that Pete Alonso just had, where he only hit 37 home runs. His last full season before that, he hit 53. I am just, I have a hard time thinking Nick Castellanos even gets to 30, and that's in the park. I'll give you that he'll get close to last year's numbers because he's in a silly string park, but that's a poo-poo take. Poo-poo take.
All right, AL.
AL home run champ, Mike Stanton.
Yep.
I'm going Stanton just unloads. I don't think he's the best player. I don't think he's the best player on his own team. I already have Judge winning the whole thing. I think Mikey Stanton turns back the clock. Homie hits somewhere in the ballpark at like 55 home runs. Completely just unloads on the league because he can play DH more often with Sanchez being gone. They don't have as many holes in the lineup. They can be comfortable with him swinging from there.
Yeah, it's Stanton.
I was torn. I went with Vladdy.
I like that too.
Not a bad.
Again, I think Vladdy's a better player. I just think Stanton's
I get you 100%.
just a freakazoid.
I feel like just Vladdy with another year of getting better under his belt. He almost won the Triple Crown last year.
Oh, listen, I think you have a great take.
So-
That's a great take. Great.
All right, NL batting champ
Hit me. You tell me. You lead off.
Jeff McNeil.
So you son of a bitch and Bob.
I thought about it.
I am going to burn this microphone. If Jeff McNeil, I'm putting this out here right now.
I know.
If Jeff McNeil wins the batting title, the Mets win 115 games.
Because we also have Pete at
Because
home runs.
that's nuts. At that point in time, you're talking the Mets have 2 guys who are in the top 5 in their batting order, batting over 300. You're talking about 5 guys hitting 30 home runs. Stop it. And you don't actually think, you don't believe the Phillies are going to win. This is the most. Move on. I got to move on. I have Juan Soto.
Okay.
Sir? Good sir?
Trey Turner.
Great
Oh,
call.
yeah,
Great
yeah.
call. But it's going to be Soto. But
I thought about it.
Oh, You put Jeff McNeil, I'm gonna fight you.
Listen, I made my choice on last episode. I'm sticking to it. Just purely out of principle. Bad take or good.
That
Fine.
one's just gonna be.
I
the
can't
one.
wait. I can't wait. But
Every week.
I knew for the rest of it I was gonna hit.
That's gonna
go
be its
fandom.
own segment.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be its own segment for me all season long.
Absolutely.
Dennis, AL batting champ.
AL batting champ. Mike Trout. Last year, only played 36 games, was .333 batting average. That lineup is stacked, and I think he's going to be hungrier than ever, seeing that they have a legitimate shot to win the division this year.
Okay. I like that. I think that's an easy answer, but so I was torn between a lot of things. One of them being Dennis's earlier pick of Bo Bichette, which I really liked. So for me, I was torn between Vlad, Bo Bichette, and Tim Anderson. I think Tim's due to keep getting better. He's consistently getting better as a player. Love him. I did settle on Bo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bo Bichette. I mean,
Yeah.
that would validate his entire thing.
Yes.
I went with Mike Trout. I agree. I think Mike Trout bats like .345. I think it's the best year of his career from a batting average standpoint because he's not going to think that he has to sit there and power home runs to get them to go. He's going to be able to kind of sit back, relax, enjoy the protection in the lineup. He's going to be the table setter. He's been batting leadoff for them with Shohei batting second and Rendon batting third. I think he scores the most runs he ever has in his life.
So that was also my same thought process for Bo, is that he just added a home run hitter in Matt Chapman, so you can kind of dial it back a little bit and just be more of a contact guy. I don't know, but I like both options.
100%. I'm just with him on the Trout.
Love Trouty.
World Series winner.
I'll kick this one off. So I have the Blue Jays over the Cardinals in 6 games.
Ooh. Okay.
Go ahead. We go clockwise here.
Oh, you just messed up the focus. Damn it, Bill. Move the water bottle.
Good, Dennis?
Yeah.
Mets over the Blue Jays in 6.
How?
You're welcome, Dennis.
Guys, I think this might be my last episode on the show.
Listen, just because they don't win the division doesn't mean they can't win the whole thing.
My choice was Mets over the Blue Jays in 6.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to fight Gerson after this show. And, yeah.
Sorry to trigger you.
I'm so triggered I'm quiet.
Wow. Is that a first on this show?
Next one, All-Star in 2021 to Buxton, the AL.
Dennis, you just going to let this go?
Yeah.
Let it go,
You're
man.
just going to let this
Just
go, Dennis?
just because they don't win the division.
You got no opinions on this?
I mean,
Why does it have to be the easy route? That's
he
what I'm
picked
saying.
the batting champion. He picked them to win the World Series in 6 games. He picked the Cy Young Award winner on the team. So we got the best hitter, the best pitcher. We're gonna win the World Series in 6 games, but we're not gonna win the division. Dennis, make it make sense for me, please.
I can't.
Oh, can we just zoom in on your face right now? Because when you laugh and you're really happy, it's my favorite. I got little Michael voice on right now. Oh God.
It's okay, guys. It's going to be all right.
Go ahead, kick off.
No, I can't kick off. I
Dennis,
honestly,
you got to kick off. I can't. I might be done for the rest of the show.
As the resident Yankee fan, I'm happy to say it'll be Joey Gallo. It would make sense that he'd be good in Yankee Stadium, but career-wise, he's a lifetime 194 average, 774 OPS player, and you're talking about an AL East team that could have 4 playoff teams. I think he's just going to struggle all year.
I love that.
Yeah, honestly, I picked Joey Gallo. I just didn't want to go next.
I like the take, but I'm gonna skip ahead. I have him as most likely to break out.
Okay.
And
Really?
I know that sounds like, oh, did he really break out? He was an all-star. I think what everybody remembers was his second half after getting traded to New York and kind of coming in and expecting to be like the savior for the team at that moment. And I think that there was a lot of stuff that was put on him. But I just think that he's a good player, and I think that in the lineup with protection, with who he is, I do think that Yankees lineup is going to hit an absolute nuclear ton of home runs. But I disagree on him being a bust.
Okay.
So yeah, for me,
he definitely like in general he is boom or bust in terms of just his entire career. He'll hit 40 home runs and then bat 200
I'm vacating all options for this. I forgot to put any answers in, so I have no research on this one
for the NL.
for both of them.
Okay.
For the
That's
AL,
fine.
the All-Star to bust, I have nothing.
Okay, that's fine. For me, my pick was Joey Wendell for the NL. He was an All-Star last year in the AL, but he went free agency or trade. I forget which one to the Marlins. I think that's
Going to the Marlins always tough.
yeah. So
Tough.
that just seemed like an automatic for me.
See, I think my most likely to break out things, I went with like
You're actually,
comeback player of the year.
upon further review, you're also going to despise my breakout pick with a burning passion for the NL.
Can I just put my NL bust in there then?
Sure.
And
Go
then we
for
can
it.
get going.
Go.
I went with, I know this is a new signing, but Nelson Cruz. He's 41, and he's going to be playing for the Nationals. So,
To most likely to break out.
no, bust.
Oh, bust. No, I like
No,
that
he's
one.
gonna hit good.
I like that one.
Okay.
I like that one. But again, now with the DH, again the whole world's different.
Mhm.
The whole world's different, and this is why I go back to how good the Mets are. In 2020, there was a DH in the National League.
That's true. I think Dom Smith's potential.
Oh, so is that?
That's actually not my pick. I'm just going to say that. That's not my pick.
Okay.
But feel free. Is that who?
Go ahead.
is that who-
Most likely, you go ahead. Kick this off. Most likely to break out.
Chris Bassett. He was the number one pitcher on the
Bro,
A's.
you can just straight up go fuck yourself.
Roger that.
Holy, he's just proving what I said earlier in the show is correct. He doesn't actually
Just
think
because-
that the Mets are not going to win the division.
Sure, that's fine.
This is such a lie. So I'm going deep into my homedom, and that's why I'm going breakout NL player. I'm actually Dom. I love, but I went with Lindor because I think that I had Lindor as my runner-up to Juan Soto for National League MVP.
I actually considered it.
I am seeing Lindor looking angry at the plate about everything that went down last year. He looks smooth from both sides. He seems comfortable. The team looks like they're happier than last year. Like, I go back, Rojas fucked that whole shit up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's proven now because all I've heard is how much everybody loves, the attention to detail, the attention to
From Buck?
Bro.
Oh.
But everybody's saying, like, we haven't really had that in a long time. Like, dude, I swear to everything. I think it's Lindor, and that's also why I chose Gallo. I just look at it as more comeback player of the year for breakout.
Okay.
And, like, I'm sure that there's some guys who were on the cusp of being great players. Like, again, Brandon Nimmo, underrated player. But I think Lindor, just the 220 batting average, he's going to smoke that.
Mm-hmm.
So, comeback player of the year for me. That's
Do you
what
have an over-under on his batting average?
Lindor?
Yeah.
295.
Ooh, okay.
295. Best batting average that he's had
Is that is of his career?
maybe ever. I'm pretty sure he had a couple years where he was higher batting average but lower home runs.
Deets, you gotta. While Bill's pulling up, you gotta break out AL.
Are we doing AL or NL? Because I never did my.
Oh,
NL.
what's your NL? I'm sorry.
Dylan Carlson. He was third in Rookie of the Year voting last year for the Cardinals. He, towards the end of the season, started to really come on. He was batting .313 and had a 884.
He won the Gold Glove last year?
He might have. 884 OPS in August, and then September, 885 OPS. He's a good kid and solid lineup, and I took breakout as a guy that's going to...
That's better research than either of us did.
That's cool.
Lindor hit .313 his rookie year. He hit .301 the second year.
Okay.
And in 2019, he hit .284.
So you're hammering the over on 295?
No, I'm saying to me, 295 is like where I think he has above the 284 he hit in 2019.
Okay.
So 295 to me is where I kind of like, that's around where I expect, but I could see him hitting 300 with a 900 OPS.
He's got that in him for sure. So Deets, breakout AL.
AL breakout. I have Byron Buxton, if we want to count that. We know how good he can be. It's just he's never actually,
just got
played.
his extension or contract, whatever you want to call it.
I will go as far as to say if he plays close to a full season, he's going to be in the MVP race at the end of the year.
I think he was actually up there for odds for MVP, if I'm not mistaken. Did you see that or no?
I did not, but
Okay.
either way.
Maybe I'm crazy. All right, I was torn for this one as well. I have two. One of them is Luis Robert, center fielder for the White Sox. He was hurt last year, but in 70 games, I think he batted like 350 or something like that. Hold on, let me pull it up just to make sure so I'm not making up lies. But yeah, it was something crazy. And my other one is Tristan McKenzie.
Ooh, that's good. I guess we're too close to it to think that it's a breakout.
He batted 338. Sorry.
Yeah, you should be sorry.
Yeah.
Tristan's a great pick. I think Tristan's an excellent pick for truly a breakout. Because
Like,
last year
that's-
his numbers weren't in line with some of the dominance that he had.
He almost had a perfect game.
It does look like
That was a scary day.
He has the
Yeah.
record. He has the record for most consecutive strikeouts in their history. Like,
And he looks really good in spring training.
Yeah, that's a great pick. That's a great pick. Excellent job.
Thank you. Trying to redeem myself.
It's impossible.
It's okay.
Just wait until we get to
Listen,
the
Team
biggest
most likely team with the most moves at the trade deadline for the NL.
Okay.
You're going first because I don't trust you.
Fine. Padres.
Okay, so Padres were for me in my category of teams that I thought were going to do it. Here's why I didn't choose them.
Okay.
I feel like that they're going to be too far away from the Dodgers, but also they blew their load to some degree last year where they traded a whole bunch to bring in all this talent.
They're already trying to. So interesting. Just want to pause you real quick. They're already trying to. You know how they got Adam Frazier last year?
Yes.
They're already trying to bring in the center fielder from the Pittsburgh Pirates, Brian Reynolds. All-star
Yes.
caliber guy. Already trying to get another trade going, and they've already been partners before, so
100%.
wouldn't shock me.
100%. Listen, but that to me is one trade.
Right, but I'm saying they're AJ Preller's an active trade person.
1,000,000%. I don't think it's a bad call. They were number 2 to me. They were
Okay.
number 2 to me.
Who's number one?
The Mets.
Okay. What are they bringing in? Pitching?
The Mets are going to bring in more pitching.
Okay. That seems, honestly, for anyone that I was considering, it was someone who's going to be in contention to win a division.
Yep.
But could, if adding one arm. So when you looked at team with the most moves, were you thinking one move
No.
or most impactful or number?
No,
of
I'm
moves?
thinking most moves at the trade deadline.
I think I'd look at the Mets and say they add one starter and one reliever, and that it takes them
And
to
that's my thing.
World Series
When
caliber.
you also look at that they have J.D. Davis, like Jeff McNeil, Cano, Dom Smith, like they have some congestion. The other thing that I think is sneaky, that's super, super sneaky, is the Mets had a lot of love for Francisco Alvarez in camp.
Yeah.
And
We're trading James McCann. Is that what
I
you're saying?
could see a world where they try to move off McCann's money for a 1-year rental of a guy, and they let Nido kind of like be the catcher with Alvarez sooner than we expect, and that they move McCann to a team that needs a catcher.
Alvarez is starting in Double-A.
He's starting, but I think he's going to mash.
But I fully expect him to mash, and I also watched him hit in spring training, and it was like, oh shit, he's so disgusting, and it's just a matter of if he is ready defensively.
Yes.
I know that's the question for them, and
Yeah.
obviously Nido is a great defensive catcher. So if we went the Yankees route of we have a catcher that's decent defensively but mashes, and then we have another guy who's there for defense, does it work?
And that's my point. Is I think if you let the 2 stud pitchers have Nido to frame up, and then you have the rest of the guys get supported by, Alvarez for 2 out of if he's even 2 out of
Is he
5,
DHing the other games?
he can DH. That's my
Right.
point. And that's the thing I think that
Also, the Mets don't need bats.
that's why. But if he can also come up, the reality is that his bat is starting to look spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yep.
So it just interesting little thing I throw out there.
Okay.
But I think it's the Mets because Cohen is here to chase down
Facts.
the Dodgers.
Dennis?
It's the Nationals. They have half their rosters pending UFAs. Just sell
Right.
everyone.
That's why I added the pending free agency link.
Nationals were 3rd on my list.
Okay.
Again, but my biggest thing was I don't know where they're really. What else do they have left that's got supreme value outside of Soto?
Patrick
Right.
Corbin.
So how many moves is it really going to be? You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's more about with this said the most moves. I think the Mets are going to end up making like 4 moves. I think they're going to make.
So yeah,
more than
it's
expected.
one spectrum to the other. It's a couple moves that takes you over the cusp of okay, now we're a competitor, or we're absolute garbage. We're just going to reload on prospects. Let's move everybody.
And so you have to be a team that's pretty good.
Right.
And that's why I have my next team.
Okay. AL.
Have you done your NL?
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
said the
Padres.
Padres,
Yeah. Oh, AL team that makes the most move, Yankees.
Yep. That's what I had too.
I said either Yankees or Red Sox.
But I have the
Okay.
Yankees because I think the Yankees dump.
They
Really?
dump. Oh,
If
wow.
the
Really?
Yankees, if the Yankees,
What
are
are they
in-
dumping?
If the Yankees are in fourth,
Ooh.
and the Yankees are looking like it might not be a time that they're going to make the playoffs, right? If a team comes along for one of the big bats to go win a title, you don't think the Yankees would consider dumping payroll to get back after it?
No, because I could picture Cashman being like, oh, we're in fourth, but we're only 5 games out. Let's add even more bats to this lineup and then go crazy.
Cashman just publicly admitted that, or acknowledged
That
That-
money is a thing.
money is the thing, and that he hears people about not being to the World Series in a decade.
Yep.
Well, he also was blaming the Astros thing
No, no.
the whole time,
I
even
know.
though
Yep,
they got
for
caught.
sure.
He pretty much was like, it's because of their cheating. Meanwhile, you guys have a cheating scandal that's been redacted, and there's actually a court filing
There
for
sure
you to
is.
open up all the information. So
But we won't
you
talk about that.
best be careful, Brian. You best know what you're doing,
Brian.
because it could turn sideways on you really, really quick. Really, really quick. No, to me, I think the Yankees might be in a situation where if you're going to finish fourth in your division, dump the payroll so you can get down, not have to pay some luxury tax.
Who's the first one to go?
You don't want to start hearing my whole.
All right, hold on. Well,
So-
I'll give my reason real
Okay.
quick. I didn't have them as dumping, but I understand what you're saying there. I could see them if for some reason they are in contention for the division or wild card or whatever, going to try and add pitching, and then at that point, there's a possibility that the big bats are what brings them in that piece. Maybe it is a Patrick Corbin for I don't know, an Isaiah kind of Falefa plus somebody, like something like that. Because I know that there is also a conversation of are they going to bring up Volpe at some point this
Yep.
season. So that's kind of my thought process, but I know where your head's at with your trade concept.
So I got a couple. I think if there's going to be a year where the Yankees can move on from Giancarlo Stanton, it's going to be this year. And here is my reason why. Half the teams in the league did not prepare themselves to have a DH. And the teams that did had to sign real quick coming out of camp. So how much does Schwarber just sign for per year?
20-ish?
Right? So if I told you that you could have Schwarber for what he got, or you could DH Giancarlo Stanton instead, who would you choose?
Stanton.
So we're talking Stanton's worth more. Well, Stanton's deal is only $29 million. So is he that much more now as a DH position when half the league just opened up a slot? If the Yankees were going to do it, there's going to be a National League team that is on the cusp of the playoffs that needs to take a swing to go get a DH. And they're going to look at $29 million and they're going to say that's palatable.
Yeah.
And we're fine. Because
Well, like what's the value on a lineup that needs an elite bat, and all they have to do is be an elite bat?
Oh,
It's
worth
it, right?
It's worth $30 million a
Yep,
year.
absolutely.
If I tell you that you're going to get Giancarlo Stanton full-time DH numbers, because you're not going to worry about him pulling a hammy, right? Trying to sprint down a fly ball anymore.
Yep.
That whole thing is completely off the books, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about a guy who consistently, like last year, had 97 RBIs, 273 batting average. Like, man, oh man, you can only DH that cat, and he hit 35 home runs last year. Now, the challenge is he missed time in 2019, he missed time in 2020, but you go back again, you look at his 2018 season, 38 home runs. 2017 season, 59 home runs.
Yeah.
And it's if he is the spicy, if he's sitting on at the trade deadline 40 home runs, like I'm saying he's going to lead the league in home runs, and he's been mashing, if I'm in fourth and I'm looking at this and I can unload $30 million, I think they trade Stanton, and I think another team would be willing to take the swing because now they have the DH.
That's a very good point. We've said it before that they have an excess of DH level guys,
And that's the only reason that they'll be able to keep Judge long term. So if they're expecting to keep Judge, they got to move somebody.
But you know what? The Mets aren't as in a good situation as they are, but they have a similar situation, and they could move somebody as a DH if they wanted to.
What do you mean?
J.D. Davis could be a
Oh
DH.
no, the Mets.
They
Mets
also have a plethora.
The Mets will get a better prospect than the Yankees will. But if the Yankees want to unload the money, this is going to be the best time that they can. The Yankees could probably say, we'll pay $5 million of his deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every year for the remainder of his deal. So his deal, I think, runs till 2027, right? So it's 5 more seasons. We will give you $25 million to take Giancarlo and send us back a good piece. A solid AA guy.
Here's an interesting question while we're on the subject.
Hit me now that I've thrown the spicy meatballs
What
out
else
there.
would cost $30 million a year roughly? What kind of player? What about a starting shortstop next year?
Oh, yeah.
And in Carlos Correa, who's going to be a free agent probably. Because he's player opt-outs.
He's got player opt-outs
does
every
he?
year.
Oh, yeah.
So again, there is a lot of opportunity to do a lot of movement on a lot of these deals. And my thing is, if the Yankees find themselves in that situation, then if you trade Giancarlo, I don't think that's the only move they make. I think that they look at their situation and they say, is there an opportunity, depending on how DJ LeMahieu is hitting, do we move him? Gallo's on the last year of his deal, right? At that point in time, if you're fourth, if Gallo is playing well and he's good, do you do it? Now you have the money. Hicks is supposed to be back. You play out the string. You bring up Volpe. You see how things work out for you.
Get very spicy.
You see how things work out for you. I'd love to see the Yankees finally do something like that. Because
that'd be awesome.
Get rid of the guys who you have who are pretty good, who are really good, but who are going to hold you back from being a World Series title contender.
Mm-hmm. And they still keep Aaron Judge. Everybody's happy, and they do a lot of big moves that can potentially make them a really good team.
I just unloaded $50 million a year off your payroll.
Sure did.
Go spend. Congratulations.
You can go get your number 2 pitcher. You can go get your shortstop if
You're
you
welcome.
want to.
You're welcome. Save the Yankees.
I like it. I like it a
Hashtag
lot.
save the Yankees.
Biggest midseason fall off in the AL, the Mets award.
The Yankees. Again, I think the Yankees are in it just like everybody else. I think the pitching falls apart on them. And when the pitching falls apart on them, they run back to fourth. And they go from being a team that's in the mix and looking like they're going to a team that finishes around 500, maybe maybe 85 wins.
Mm-hmm.
After they trade off a whole bunch of pieces. I'm going Yankees.
Okay. Dennis?
I'm going to go with the Twins. They're one of those weird teams that was randomly really good a few years ago. They've fallen off since then. Adding Correa, I think, is going to give them some excitement early on in the season. But then as the season goes on, they're just going to fall off and keep falling and falling as the White Sox just take a bigger lead in the division.
I see that. I like that. It's interesting.
Solid one.
For me, this team kind of in the same boat as the Yankees a little bit to me. I consider the Yankees, but and I think that it's exactly the same situation. They could have a great team and also be in contention for the division.
Yeah.
But they could also fall off quickly. The Angels. Because we've seen it a million times. They get injuries. Their pitching isn't there. And they could have a great first half and then not be in contention in the second half. And if you really look at it, the Angels and the Yankees are very similar. Great lineup, not enough pitching.
Oh, I think
you could even say that the Angels are in better position.
I think the Angels have better pitching.
So that was what I was going to say. The Angels, you could say, actually have a better pitching, but I feel like the injury bug's always a thing for them.
Yeah.
And I could see it being a problem.
For sure. 100%. Biggest midseason fall off, NL.
For me, I picked the Padres.
Great choice.
Yeah, it's just they're a good team. They have everything on paper, but they just don't seem to have that it factor that they need to get through a 162-game season.
I, too, picked the Padres.
Great choice. I picked the Phillies. I am consistent. For me, it's the Phillies. Again, I could see that their bats are going to be hot. They'll get through the early part of the season, and then you'll remember that their number 2 starter had a mid-4 ERA season last year, and their best player had the greatest season of his entire career and is due for some regression, that their big free agent signing of the offseason in Castellanos, it played outside his frame and was almost 100 OPS points better than his career average. Probably not going to happen again. Schwarber is there, right?
Yes.
So who has had issues staying healthy at times throughout his career when he's had to play all the time and swing all the time. We're remembering a hot moment in his career last year where he hit like 15 home runs in 3 weeks and was nuts and everything was great. And it's like, well, what did he look like when he got traded? Not the same player. I'm just saying, I think the Phillies are overrated as hell. They'll be there and then they'll drop.
Cool. Can't wait to see.
Drop like a stone. Drop like a stone.
This was great.
This was
any other-
not great. This was actually painful. It's been hard for me to
Bill's
sit
very
across from
upset.
you this entire
That's
time.
fine. Is there any other extra categories you want to add?
Most inconsistent podcast host.
I won.
I vote for J Money.
I accept the nomination.
I
Thank
can't believe all of those choices that you made down the line. I'm gonna. Am I nuts, guys? So that's what I want you guys to leave in the comments. That's what I want to be when somebody looks at this on Instagram, YouTube, wherever you may find our podcast. Am I nuts, or was his list crazy? We'll see you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Later.
Baseball lifestyle, it's my lifestyle.